Is staff ready? Ms. Hamill, staff ready to start? Y'all ready?
Ready.
All right, let's heat it up. Good evening. For those of you in the audience who have not attended one of these meetings before, please allow me to share with you our normal procedure. Staff will introduce each item for consideration. If you are the applicant and you'd like to speak, or if you're anyone affected by it and you'd like to speak, please fill out one of the forms out in the lobby and hand it to the clerk. And please make sure you state on it whether you're for or against the item. The applicant and supporters will be heard first. Those in opposition to the request will be heard next. And then the applicant is given a chance for rebuttal. Comments should be restricted to pertinent information regarding the agenda item under discussion. If you're an individual, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. If you represent an organization, you will have 6 minutes for your comments. Speakers should move closer to the podium when their item is being presented by staff. Speakers should identify themselves clearly for the record by stating their name and address. Each speaker should be given respectful and courteous attention. The board may ask questions of speakers or staff members, and information, pictures, site plans, letters, whatever you choose to share, presented at the public hearing will be kept as part of the public record. If you have things on your phone you'd like to share, that's fine. Our camera can pick that up from your screen, but you do have to promise to share with us a hard copy or email or text a digital copy afterwards. I will then ask for a motion from the board. Once a motion has been made and seconded, discussion will be closed to the floor. Following board discussion, a vote will be taken. During voting, board members who do not cast objecting votes are considered to have voted in support of the motion. And finally, any person aggrieved by any decision of this board may, within 15 days, appeal our decision to the Board of County Commissioners, and our staff can help you with that process. Having said that, who's first?
Good evening. For the record, Angie Gates with Planning and Development. The first item is a request to enlarge a previously approved guardhouse from 385 square feet to 785 square feet by adding an attached carport in the A1 Agricultural District located at 285 North Orange Avenue. On April 25th, 2022, the Board of Adjustment approved a request for a front yard setback variance from 100 feet to 10 feet for a 385-foot accessory structure. The applicant is now requesting to increase the size of the accessory structure to 785 square feet by adding an attached carport. The existing 385 square foot accessory structure consists of a guard shack room and a trash receptacle room attached by a covered drive-through. The carport addition will add an additional 400 square feet. The carport will not be encroaching into the 10-foot front yard setback, but will be increasing the size of the structure that was approved on the site plan with a recorded development order 22-300000021. And previously, in 2006, a lot size variance was approved for this lot from 1 acre to 412.5 square feet on May 22nd, 2006. And this concludes my presentation. Should you have any questions for staff, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the variance was granted in 2022 for the accessory structure. However, as we can see in the street view picture right there, there is a concrete block wall surrounding the property, which appears to be a lot closer to the property line than the accessory structure is.
At that time, the block wall didn't need a variance.
At that time, why? Because of the zoning?
Because the code just recently changed April 1st.
Okay. So this property is grandfathered in?
Yes.
No variance will be needed for
And
that?
that wall's permitted.
Very well. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, is the applicant here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Please give us your name and address and share what you'd like to share.
Jason Turner, 285 North Orange Avenue. No, that's pretty much about it. So, just curious though, you said they changed the codes for privacy walls, or?
The entire code.
Really? Wow. Huh.
Lucky
What-
you.
Yeah, I start to say, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was curious. I didn't know.
There you go. Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant? Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello
Thank you,
again.
sir.
So, wow. Okay, cool. Thank
Easy
you,
enough.
guys.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone here in the audience to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, is there anyone here in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none. Gentlemen, your pleasure.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Enjoy.
Thank you, sorry.
No. What's next?
Item number 2 is a request for a rear yard setback variance from 30 feet to 20 feet for an addition in the R1 Single Family Dwelling District in the Renwood Heights Unit 2 subdivision located at 7125 Ivy Court. The proposed addition will be approximately 720 square feet and will encroach 10 feet into the required rear yard setback. The addition will the addition will consist of a covered porch, a game room, and with a kitchenette, and the kitchenette area will not have cooking facilities or 220-volt hookup. The staff report says that there have not been any prior variances for the subject property, but today, prior to the meeting, I found a variance that was approved in 2006 for a rear yard setback from 30 feet to 20 feet, but it was for the family room addition. So they're increasing the nonconformity, so they do need this variance. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Could you all, whoever would like to speak, come on down, or both if you would like.
How we doing?
Doing well. If you could share with us your name and address, please.
My personal address?
Or, yes, sir.
I'm sorry. It's Daniel Grafton, the address is 7125 Ivy Court.
Okay. I said, just, we don't always know whether there's an applicant or their representative
A
coming.
great
got you.
representative,
Yeah,
Britton Breen,
we're not the
LP,
homeowner.
Design and Renovation for Ivy Court. We're the contractor.
Got you. Anything you'd like to share with us?
No, it's fairly self-explanatory, which is why we requested the second variance.
I got it. Do you share an address with him?
No, but he's just here just as our support.
We work
Yeah.
together.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. Well, would you give us just real quick again your name and address for the
Brittany
record?
Breen, 7125 Ivy Court.
Gotcha. Thank you. Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Neighbors, we check with neighbors on all of
Neighbors,
this.
yep, we did. We did our due diligence as far as that concerned. There's no issues.
Thank you.
That's good. Jim, any other questions? That was my question, too. All right, well, thank you for your time. Is there anyone in the audience to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak in opposition to it? Seeing none. Gentlemen,
Mr. Chair, move to approve.
motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, enjoy.
Item number 3 is a request for a rear yard setback variance from 7.5 feet to 5 feet for a pole screen enclosure in the PD Plan Development District in Buckingham Estates Phase 2 located at 6313 Bordeaux Circle. The proposed pool enclosure will be approximately 1,300 square feet and will encroach 2.5 feet into the rear yard setback. The rear of the property abuts a retention open space easement. There have not been any prior variances, and this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Please come on down, sir. And if you could first give us your name and address.
Chad Hoakley, 6313 Bordeaux Circle.
Thank you, sir. Anything you'd like to add to what staff had said?
No, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Thanks, sir. Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant?
Neighbors, good with it? I
Are you
saw
just
your
joking?
neighbors to your east, I've already, and actually both to your east have one as well. Actually, and to your west, now I'm looking at it. But everybody good with it?
They just mess with me saying they're going to come speak and they just left around.
Yep, sounds like
We're all
awesome.
close.
So-
Nobody had any issues. We got our approval from the HOA before we submitted to, it just triggered that setback. So that was the only thing.
And just to, I want to question, just to dovetail into what my colleague had said, we're reading, looking at the aerials correctly to see that all of your neighbors seem to have this kind of enclosure?
Yes. I'm the only one without it, and the leaves and the snakes and the rabbits have been fun to deal
At least
with.
you don't have gators, so, you know.
Yeah, with that pond there, too.
Knock on wood, there hasn't been any gators in there for as far as I know.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience to speak in support of the application? Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, gentlemen, your pleasure.
Move to approve?
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, keep those critters out.
Item number 4 is a request for a side yard east setback variance from 6 feet to 5 feet for an addition in the PD Plan Development District in the Bella Vista subdivision located at 1108 Bella Vista Circle. The proposed garage addition will be 225 square feet and will encroach 1 foot into the required side yard east setback. The Bella Vista at Lake Forest Homeowners Association approved the proposed construction of the garage addition. Letters of support were submitted by the neighbors to the east and the west of 1101 Bella Vista Circle. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, is our applicant here? If you could please come down, sir.
Good evening.
If you could please first give us your name and address, sir.
Joseph Antequino, 1108 Bella Vista Circle.
All right. Anything you'd like to share along with what staff has said?
No,
Okay.
HOA is approved, both neighbors are good with it. 1 foot.
Gentlemen, any questions? Just my quick question, just a minor thing. Is what you're planning to build, it's going to stay just within the existing, I was going to say concrete, but I guess with the existing pavers?
Yeah, essentially, I mean, right here, this is already the 5-foot mark right here, so basically we're just be, creating a garage that looks similar to that one over there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Very good. Thank you, sir. That was painless. Anyone in the audience to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, anyone here to speak in opposition? Seeing none. Gentlemen,
Move to approve.
Second.
and we have motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Enjoy it, sir.
Item number 5 is a request for a side yard south setback variance from 10 feet to 7 feet for a detached carport in the R1 AAA Single Family Dwelling District in the Springs Valley Chase subdivision located at 157 Spring Chase Circle. The proposed carport will be 240 square feet and will encroach 3 feet into the required south side yard setback. Letters of support were received from the adjacent neighbors, and there have not been any prior variances for the subject property. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you'd like to add to what staff had said? Gentlemen, do you have any questions for the applicant? There we go. We won't make you walk. Anyone here in the audience to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, your pleasure.
Move to approve. Sorry.
Second.
Get you to it.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Those opposed? It passes. Enjoy, sir.
Next one's all you.
You ruined the rotation.
I didn't know we were at one.
Item number 6 is a request for a side street west setback variance from 2 feet to 0 feet for a privacy fence in the R1A Single Family Dwelling District in the Woodcrest Unit 5 subdivision at 7413 Barnacle Court. The subject property is a corner lot considered to have 2 front yards for setback purposes. The front of the house faces Barnacle Court, and the North Woodcrest side is where the variance is being sought. The existing privacy fence was previously approved for a side street setback variance from 25 feet to 2 feet on January 22nd, 2024 by the Board of Adjustment. On April 11th, 2024, the Seminole County Building Department inspected the fence under building permit 24-6484, and it was determined that the fence is located at 0 feet and not 2 feet, requiring the applicant to reapply for another variance. Traffic engineering still has no objection to the placement of the fence as it relates to site visibility, and this concludes my presentation. Actually, I do have to add that the applicant is out of town. I just found this out prior to the meeting. There's a gentleman here to speak on her behalf, but he is not able to speak on her behalf. He can speak, and you can still hear the item according to our county attorney. He just can state what he has to say, but he can't say he's speaking on her behalf.
And do we have something from the applicant stating that she authorizes this?
He can speak and say what he wants to because it's a public hearing.
But no.
But he can't speak on her behalf.
She did not fill out the owner's authorization allowing him to do that.
Before we address that point, gentlemen, do you have any questions for staff? All right. Seeing none, before you say anything, sir, I have a question, and then based on your answer, I want to say something to the board. Tell us, please, your relationship to the applicant.
So she's
Actually, I'm sorry, first tell me your name and address.
my name's Alexis Rodriguez, and I stay at 7413 Barnacle Court, Winter Park, Florida. She is my fiance.
Oh, okay.
She had had to fly to North Carolina for work, and we didn't realize there was something we had to fill out from her for me to speak on behalf of her. So I'm just here speaking. I can't officially say on behalf of her.
Gentlemen, do you want to proceed and hear what this gentleman has to say and rely on him to answer your questions, or would you rather continue it?
To be honest, I'm continuing. I mean, I'd be okay with continuing. I would check with the county attorney, though, specifically on this, is what are we allowed to weigh in, what are we not allowed to weigh in on, or
She wrote me notes.
It's nothing personal.
you're already married, so.
So, yeah, sorry, is this on? So, Nasa Borker, Deputy County Attorney for the record. Because we don't have an owner's authorization form, he can't speak on behalf of the applicant. However, he's absolutely allowed to speak as a member of the public. Any personal knowledge that he has of the fence and what happened and when it went up, he can put on the record, but it just can't be taken as, a testimony of the applicant, okay? You're welcome to continue it, but you can always choose to hear cases where the applicant's not present. That's up to the will of the board. Typically, applicants try to make it to every meeting, but obviously, emergencies can happen. So it's up to you. So if he's going to speak, I would just have him come up during public comment, and then he can speak. You're free. You're always free to ask the public questions if you want to, but it's at the will of the board.
I have questions I would like to have from the owner, I'd like to have answered by the owner as part of the record, part of the competent substantial evidence, and if you all agree, I'd certainly entertain a motion to continue this.
I'm kind of on the same principle, is that I have questions for her, and since I know you can't, going off what the county attorney is stating, it's nothing against you. I really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
I really do. But yeah, I also have some questions, Mr. Chair.
Is that a motion?
I will make a motion to continue.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor?
I'm sorry, can we do one thing
Yes, ma'am.
before we do this, so we don't have to renotice it and the county doesn't have to go through that process? Can you continue it to a date certain? So can Kathy, when's the next Board of Adjustments meeting?
Can we just say in our motion to next meeting?
What was that?
Can we just say in our motion to next meeting?
25th, sorry.
June 25th?
I think it's the 24th.
June 24th? If you could,
You
June
amend your
24th.
motion?
Yeah, I'll amend it to continue it to the next variance meeting, which is June 24th. I believe, going
Perfect,
off what I'm
thank
hearing
you.
from staff.
And we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so you please tell your fiance it's nothing personal, it's
No,
not
absolutely.
dispositive of the application. We'd just like to chat with her.
For sure. Yeah, I kicked her out of town so I could be here.
You realize this is on television.
Oh, man.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll see you next month.
How's that wedding planning going?
Can I speak on behalf of the public?
We've continued it, so we're just not going to,
Okay.
we're not going to do anything related to it today. Not approve, not deny, anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
All right, next.
Item number 7 is a request for a front yard setback variance from 50 feet to 38 feet for an addition in the A1 Agricultural District located at 509 Hillview Drive. The proposed front porch addition will be 280 square feet and will encroach 12 feet into the required front yard setback. There have not been any prior variances for this subject property, and this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Could you come on down, sir? Or sir and madam, whoever wants to come on down. And if you all could first please give us your name and address.
Sure.
Roderick Waller, 509 Hillview Drive, Altamont Spring.
All right, and the person with you?
My wife, Sandra.
Alkia Waller.
Same address, I presume. Anything you'd like to add to what staff said, sir?
They were very accurate on our request.
We have a good staff. All right, well, gentlemen, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I've got a one.
Sure.
So what is preventing you from putting it on the back of the house where it may not need any sort of variances? I'm not sure if it would, but just theoretically.
Nothing's preventing the back, it's just the front is narrow. We have her sister is handicapped, and it's kind of tight getting her in and out. So we're trying to widen the front porch area for people to come in.
So then to clarify that, the front porch is for accessibility issues of the?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, all right, understood.
Now, your questions, sir?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Mr. Waller, and taking a look at the map, am I seeing the map correctly that across, maybe not this, but just, or areas, I guess I should say, across the street from your house, there's a new community that's got a big wall right in front of it?
Yes,
So
sir.
nobody in that community would be seeing your house?
No, they wouldn't.
That's what I thought I saw. Okay, thank you, sir. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wants to speak in support of this matter? Seeing none, anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, your pleasure, gentlemen.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Item-
It's approved? I'm sorry, did I miss something?
No,
She's about to go to the next item.
I'm ready.
All right, y'all enjoy it, thank you.
Sorry. Item number.
I'm happy, let's move, yeah.
Item number 8 is a request for a rear yard setback variance from 30 feet to 21 feet for an addition in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District in the Raymond Oaks subdivision located at 107 Raymond Oaks Court. The proposed covered patio will be 384 square feet and will encroach 9 feet into the required rear yard setback. There have not been any prior variances for the subject property, and this concludes my presentation.
Gentlemen, any questions for staff? I have one question, that taking a look at the map there, I was wondering what that block of woods was behind the house, and I see that it's got a PD designation.
It's going through the approval process now.
Okay, so what is being proposed?
A subdivision.
Okay, more residences, gotcha.
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any questions for staff? All right, is the applicant here? Please, come on down.
She's coming at you, Jay.
You're trying to be relaxed. Y'all are playing the youngin' card on us. That's not fair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you just give us your name and address, please.
Francesca Toro is 107 Raymond Oaks.
Gotcha. Anything you'd like to add to what staff had said?
No, just a pergola. That's it.
Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant? I made you come down here for nothing. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak in support of this? Apart from that young lady. Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, gentlemen?
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, enjoy. All right, are we at changing of the guard time?
That's right.
All right.
It got really quiet on this side, so.
Nothing else to say.
Good evening. For the record, Hillary Payton, Planning and Development. Item number 9 is a variance request for 2583 Alamosa Place, located in the Chase Grove subdivision. The request is for a rear yard setback variance from 20 feet to 17 feet for a screen room addition in the Chase Groves planned development. The request is to construct a 12-foot by 22-foot screen room addition 3 feet into the rear yard setback. The Architectural Review Board has approved a patio enclosure for the subject property. 2 letters of support have been received from the adjacent neighbors. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at one time here. This concludes my presentation. I'm below for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Come on down. And as we've been saying, please share with us your name and address, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. Brian Dorian, 2938 Stonewall Place, Sanford, 32771, representing the homeowner as a contractor. It's on a cul-de-sac, and those lots are all angular. They're all pie-shaped. They're asking for only 3 feet in order the corner can be accommodated on a screen room. We ironically have actually already built screen rooms on both sides, and a few of those homes had to require variances for those and were granted variances also. That's all.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, any questions?
I have a question, but seeing as how the speaker is the contractor and not the homeowner himself or herself, I'm not sure how prepared
You can give it a
he would
try.
be. Okay. We've got letters of support from the neighbors on the left and the right to this house. However, the neighbors who would most directly be affected would be adjoining to the backyard. And that's a completely different cul-de-sac from the cul-de-sac where this house is located. Now, as part of the public notice for applying for a variance, the homeowner gets a placard, puts it in the front yard. That's supposed to be the notice to the neighbors, hey, if you support this, or if you're not in support of this, this is your chance, public notice, come to the meeting, write a letter to the county, something like that. My concern is that those neighbors, being on a completely different cul-de-sac and not having any business on this cul-de-sac, would perhaps not even have been aware of the placard being placed, and if they were not in support, would not have had the opportunity to do so.
Mr. Chair, letters are also sent out, am I correct on that?
That's correct.
Letters
Courtesy
are also sent out
notices.
within a square footage area, miles of.
Is it what, 200 feet?
Everyone who shares a property line with the property receives a notice.
Receives a notice from the county.
You could have stopped me 10 minutes ago.
I didn't want to be.
I wasn't, you were going there, I was letting you go, so.
It's like, let's hit on the new guy here. Yeah.
I'm not the new guy anymore, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We got Mr. Evans now.
Yeah,
All right. There we go. I think, does that answer your question?
it does.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions for this gentleman? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Is there anyone here to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, anyone here to speak in opposition? Seeing none. Gentlemen,
Oh, it's me. Motion to approve.
a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, sir. Successful.
Maria, is that you? All right, item number 10 is 2 variance requests for 2449 Sipes Avenue, located in the Packard's First Edition to Midway subdivision. The request is for a rear yard setback reduction from 10 feet to 5 feet and a north side yard setback reduction from 7.5 feet to 3.5 feet for a shed in the R1 zoning district. The request is to bring into compliance the construction of an 8-foot by 10-foot shed built 5 feet into the rear yard setback and 4 feet into the north side yard setback. A code enforcement violation, number 24-44, was issued for this structure, resulting in the necessity of this variance. The property abuts an 8-foot alley with a church on the other side of it to the rear and a vacant parcel owned by the same church on the north side. The subject property is located within the Midway target area. This concludes my presentation. I'll bill for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Come on down, sir. You give us your name and address, please.
Darren Price, 2449 Sipes Avenue, 32771.
Anything you'd like to share in addition to what staff had said?
Nope. I mean, it's in the perfect spot. I got a septic tank that's taking up more than half my yard on the other side. That's not in the picture there.
Could you turn around and look at the photo behind you and
Yes.
kind of point to where the septic tank is?
Thank you.
Please.
It's actually right before the concrete. All of this right here is my septic, so it's the whole.
That's all drain field?
Yeah, absolutely. So, drain field. So that's actually a current picture. So, as you can see, I got enough space to mow and get behind and around the shed. Perfect spot. And now I got gardens next to it. So, yeah, that's about it.
Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant?
Yes. Is the shed built on a slab? Or
Yes,
is it? Okay.
it's on pavers, sorry.
So it's not movable?
No, I'm actually in the process of getting the permit. They advised me to get the variance done first and then to do the permit.
Okay.
Begs the question, how did we get here?
Negligence on my end.
We're learning about how government works.
Absolutely. This is my first home, and I'm learning the ropes.
You're not alone in that. We hear that kind of stuff all the time. Any other questions, gentlemen? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience to speak in support of the application? Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, gentlemen.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
And don't do it again.
It won't, I promise.
All right, next.
Item number 11 is a variance request for 618 Trailwood Drive, located in the Trailwood Estate subdivision. The request is for a front yard setback reduction from 25 feet to 19 feet for a garage addition in the R1A zoning district. The request is to construct a 9-foot by 21-foot garage addition approximately 6 feet into the front yard setback. The privacy fence is 11 feet from the sidewalk and 19 feet from the edge of pavement. I don't think that was supposed to be there. I disregard that last sentence.
It is stricken.
This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Gentlemen, any questions for staff?
Yes, a question for staff. Looking at the street view for this house, I noticed that the neighbors across the street at 619 Trailwood have a carport in the driveway. Is there an approved variance on file for that?
I did not find any similar variances in the neighborhood.
Interesting, thank you.
You're welcome.
No. Any other questions for staff? All right, is the applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, please, come on down. Take your time. And if you could please give us your name and address, sir.
Johnny Butts, 618 Trailwood Drive, Altamont Springs, Florida 32714.
Mr. Butts, anything you'd like to add what staff had said?
Well, no, just trying to, the garage too small, and I have
It is small.
problems getting in and out of my car, and I just wanted to enlarge it so I can get in and out.
Makes sense. Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, any questions? For me, just real quick, did you chat with your across-the-street neighbor about what you were planning to do and
Yeah,
see if they were okay with it?
Yeah, I told them. Yeah, they, couple of neighbors asked me what's going on. I told them, so.
You probably saw that sign you put up.
Yeah.
And yeah,
the pink sign. They thought it was something for breast cancer or something.
That's October.
That's October.
Yeah, early start, you know. All right, thank you, sir. Unless you have anything else, we're all done with you. Thank you, sir. Anyone in the audience to speak in support of this application? Seeing none, anyone in opposition? Seeing none. Gentlemen,
Mr. Chair, move to approve.
motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, sir. Enjoy your garage. Home stretch here.
Item number 12 is 2 variance requests for 304 North Jungle Road. The requests are for a lot size reduction from 5 acres to 23,100 square feet and a width at the building line reduction from 150 feet to 110 feet for a single-family residence in the A5 zoning district. The parcel is a parcel of record prior to the adoption of the Land Development Code in 1960. When the Land Development Code was adopted, this property was assigned an A1 zoning classification, which allowed for 100-foot wide lots on 10,000 square foot, which has since been amended, leaving this property to no longer meet the requirements. The property abuts 2 similarly portioned developed parcels on the north and south sides constructed in 1963 and 1979, and a developed 10-acre parcel in the rear. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff?
I've got a couple, but they don't necessarily pertain to like this project, but sort of do. Jungle Road, I assume this is going to be east of the rural boundary line.
I didn't check.
Okay, so my only concern is just sort of this board as a whole.
Let's pause with that question, because that was my question. Can we, Ms. Hamill, do you have, or someone can we check real quick and see for sure whether this is or is not in the rural area?
It's absolutely in the rural area.
Okay, I thought so.
That's what I figured.
That's what I
yeah,
thought, okay.
Just based on the street.
All right, please continue.
So does Seminole County as a whole sort of, because there's setbacks and minimum lot requirements and all of that for the rural boundary, do we track how many properties or percentage of properties are below the minimums that we've given variances or anything like that? And is there any potential for Seminole County to have issues with enforcing the rural boundary if so many variances go through? And maybe it's for the attorney, I don't know, but I'm thinking more long-term as sort of a principle of the board. for
I think
variances.
the county attorney can correct me if I'm wrong in this, but I believe it's every applicant is taken on their own merits.
Sure.
And,
sure.
and that whatever happens with the other properties are not necessarily any kind of you know, dispositive towards this, not a precedent.
Right, yeah.
Am I correct in that?
Well, so the
Mostly-
rural boundary's set.
Yeah.
Was
Right.
set by charter, it's there. Can't be amended well, you could remove, maybe eventually, it takes an act of Congress to do so, not really, but, so the rural boundary's set. The amount of variances given out will have no effect on the location of the rural boundary. Kathy can answer as to whether or not variances are tracked, but the fact is, this lot was established prior to the rural boundary, and it's a vested lot, even though it doesn't meet the minimum lot requirements by they didn't change the zoning on their property, it happened. So, this is something that if not granted, you would probably look at takings. The county would look at probably having some liability under the Byrd-Harris Act or some type of other takings claim.
Sure, and my question really wasn't towards this property, but more the future
In
of the
general.
enforceability of the rural boundary.
Yeah, no, rural boundary is set
Okay.
in
Just
stone.
want to make sure. All right. That's good for me, I'm thought. Thank you.
Did you have other questions?
Nope, that was purely it, yeah, on that one.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, ma'am. Is the applicant here? Come on down, please. And if you could, please, sir, share with us your name and address.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brett Baxter, 296 North Jungle Road.
Anything you'd like to share in addition to what staff had said?
I know Ms. Payton covered it very well, and I'd like discussion on that, so just looking forward to getting it approved.
Gotcha. Gentlemen, any questions for the applicant? Okay, you have one? No? Okay. That was easy. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the audience to speak in support of this application? Anyone in the audience in opposition? Seeing none. What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve?
A motion approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Enjoy.
Item number 13 is a variance request for 618 Lake Shore Drive, located in the Oakland Shores subdivision. The request is for an east side yard setback reduction from 10 feet to 6 feet for an addition in the R1 AA zoning district. The request is to construct an approximate 413 square foot bedroom and bathroom addition, approximately 4 feet into the side yard setback. 4 letters of support have been received from the surrounding neighbors. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Anything you'd like to add, sir, to what staff had said? Sure, come on, just please give us your name and address.
Joseph Sutera, 618 Lake Shore Drive. I want to say that I hope you approve my request because we need to make a bigger bedroom and thank publicly. They've been very helpful, and I'm very proud of you guys running our county.
Thank you. We do have an excellent staff, I think the best around, and
Yes.
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for the applicant? All right, that was easy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience to speak in support? Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, it's the board's pleasure.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, sir, enjoy.
Thank you.
14.
Item number 14 is a variance request for 940 Lake Markham Road. The request is for a front setback reduction from 35 feet to 10 feet for a gate with pillars in the RC1 zoning district. The request is to construct two 5-foot tall, 2-foot by 2-foot wide square decorative pillars with a sliding gate 25 feet into the front yard setback. The applicant plans to put 4-foot hedging along the sides of the pillars. This concludes my presentation. I'll bill for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant here? Anything you'd like to add to what staff said, sir?
Sure.
Come on down. And as we've been doing all night, please give us your name and address.
Hi, I'm Robert Bass, 940 Lake Markham Road. Yeah, so we're just trying to put two pillars out there. Our property line is 35 feet back from the road already, so to go another 35 feet from that, we put the pillars 70 feet off the road, make them hard to see, and the whole point of them is to kind of mark the entrance, and I understand the code just changed April 1st, because prior to that, I don't think pillars would have had to been set back that far, so just asking to move them closer to the road. Yeah, if I had known, or I guess a question is, if I wanted to amend my request to go from 10 feet to on the property line, is that something I have to reapply for, or can that be approved?
Yes, sir. It would be changing what's been shared with the public through the
That's fine.
notice, and, yeah, we'd have to renotice
Understood.
it.
So the request is just for, put them 10 feet from the road, so they're visible from the road.
Gotcha.
All of our neighbors have theirs much closer to the road, sometimes 15 feet from the road. These would be 45 feet from the road.
Part of being the new guy.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Any questions for the applicant? All right,
Well,
thank you, sir. Oh,
Yes,
please.
actually, now that you mention it, do you actually intend to move your pillars closer? Are you going to submit a new variance request?
No, I don't think so. I think we're okay.
So you're sticking with
the
this?
10 feet, yeah.
Okay.
Good to ask, thank you. All right, sir, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Anyone in the audience to speak in support of the application? Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, gentlemen?
Move to approve?
Motion approved, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second, any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, sir, enjoy. Last but not least.
Last item, item number 15, is a variance request for 1277 Brampton Place, located in the Brampton Cove subdivision. The request is for a rear yard setback reduction from 10 feet to 7 feet for a swimming pool in the Heathrow planned development. The request is to construct an 18-foot by 30-foot swimming pool 3 feet into the rear yard setback. The property abuts an open space tract on the north and east sides. A letter of support has been received from the only adjacent neighbor on the west. This concludes my presentation. I'll bill for any questions.
Gentlemen, any questions for staff? Ms. Payton, I'll ask this. The wet area behind the house, there's no chance anything will be developed in there, right?
No, sir, it's an open space easement.
Yes. Oh, good, okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant here?
Yes,
The one guy wearing a suit has to be last.
I was already dressed up for work.
Will you share with us your name and address, sir?
Richard Lippert, 1277 Brampton.
All right, what would you like to share?
Nothing, folks, we just would like to put a pool on there, and based on the current design, it just comes very close to where the support pillars are for the back of the property. It's a little hard to see, but if we don't do this, there'll be about 2.5 or maybe even less feet between the back of the support pillars and where the pool starts. That's just not safe. I have a couple kids. We're going to try to push it just a little farther out so we have some usable space for them, and I can put in that safety fence to keep them out of it if we're not using it.
Any questions, gentlemen? All right, thank you, sir. Is anyone in the audience to speak in support of this? Deputy, you have anything to say?
Deputy, got anything? No.
Anyone in the audience to speak in opposition? Seeing none, gentlemen, your pleasure.
Mr. Chair, move to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, enjoy. I think our last item on the agenda is the minutes. I know you've all read them. The chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Did I miss anything? I think we're done. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.
You sure you don't say anything, Deputy?